Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're just kind of messing around in the fish room, and I realized I've got myself a little bit of a problem. A while ago I got in some Styrogyne repens Puerto Velo, which is just a different form of Styrogyne repens than what you normally see. I'm happy to say that it's doing fairly well. I've positioned it in 3 different tanks to kind of see what's happening. And I'm having a bit of a problem with it in the 240 right here. And I think the real issue is where I placed it more than the conditions of the tank or anything like that. Conditions of the tank are going pretty well. I am battling back some inconsistencies and algae and stuff. The Styrogyne Portobello, right, is in kind of a spot where I just don't think it's getting enough light. It's not exactly perfect for it. It's a little bit crowded, so I'm actually going to be moving a different plant where it's at, and then I'm going to be bringing it up here to the front. Because as you can see right here, I've got one tiny little piece of it that just refused to stay planted in the back. I actually just stuck it in the front out of kind of I would say frustration, but then I realized like the reason I put it there was to see how it would grow in the front. Turns out it's growing better than the rest that's kind of more towards the back of the tank. So I'm going to move the rest of it towards the front and let it fill in. All right. So I did put the Styrogyne Portobello a little bit in the back, and I'm wondering if seems to me like the biggest part that's causing it a problem is it's just not quite getting as much exposure and light that I think it wants. Even though there are some pieces like this one that's growing quite well. I don't know what this is. That's Persicaria. I don't even know why that's not even supposed to be there. It's not even supposed to be here today. Yeah, so I've definitely got, I've got some that's very well established. It's growing, I think also on top of it, like I'm not enjoying where it's at back here with how it's growing, you know what I mean? Like I'm not being able to check it out. It's a cool plant. I'm gonna be able to check it out. All right, so wonder if we can focus. So as you can see, it's growing fairly well. Like this was one piece, it's branching off and splitting and growing, which is good. But I think it's going to be better down in the front, allowing it to kind of spread out and do what it wants to do. And then I think I've got just the plant that can go right in here and should be pretty cool, I think. Yeah, and it is right back here, like it's getting a little tiny bit of algae growing on it, which that's not optimal. So now I've got it all successfully pulled out. I don't think that I need to do too much trimming to it. I think I'm just going to replant it. I may split off some of the pieces that are growing, but there's not a whole ton of trimming that I'm going to have to do here to them. I think I'm just going to reposition the camera down in and get them planted into the substrate. So as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't going to do a ton of trimming at all. The stalks are quite long, and I've got a lot of roots down in there, but also I want to give this plant the opportunity to kind of let me know what's going on with it a little bit. See kind of how it happens. Now that I'm going to relocate it, I want to see what it does, how it reacts. If it starts growing a little bit better, then we'll kind of know, all right, this is a better lighting spot for it to be down in the front. or it might just do nothing, and we'll be able to actually see what happens while it's out here in the front. So it might come a point where I need to trim these stalks completely and just eliminate them from the equation, and then just allow it to reroot into the tank. But that time is not yet. I don't think I'm at that point yet where I'm gonna go ahead and just hack these up completely or anything. But we'll definitely get a little bit of our placement down here in the front, and it will definitely be a little bit easier to manage this plant since it'll be down in the front, like be able to keep track what's happening with it. Am we not recording? Wow, I guess you aren't recording. Whoops, we weren't recording. Oh well. All right, so we're continuing to plant. I've got a few left here that I was kind of saying earlier. It's not a whole lot of reason for me to trim them down at this point. I'll just continue letting them grow in and kind of do their thing. Just make sure that they're spaced out well enough and that they'll be able to fill in. Just kind of occupy this space. I don't even know if this is likely the final position for this plant. We're gonna see how it grows here, how it fills in. I don't have years and years of experience with this plant, but I have a little bit of experience with this plant, and I have hopes that it'll fill in here and kind of spread around and do its thing. Hope it triggers this ramasaur too to kind of sprout and grow a little bit better. All right, so we got it in there. Area of the tank, I have a strong suspicion that it is going to turn purple. So we're going to plant this down there and let it do its thing. What is that? What do we got? I guess I should give everybody a hint. I got it in from Etsy. So, if you're familiar with my Etsy video, you might be able to figure it out. You have reached the end of the video, and at this point in time, it's a good opportunity to take just a couple of seconds to click a like button, hit a subscribe button, and if you want to join our community, feel free to do that. There's a join button on YouTube, or you could head over to patreon.com/JOEL_C, and you'll be able to find me. You could do that stuff or not. Either way, the robots continue to win. But we shall continue to battle the robots by clicking like buttons and subscribe buttons and things like that, right? Later.